My guest today is the Irish comedian Kevin Burke, now a familiar face on our TV screens. Kevin, welcome.
Hi.
And it's generally a smiling face we see too, isn't it, Kevin? But are you really like that, or is there another you behind the painted smile, as it were?
Well, I'm always being asked that. The cliché that every comedian carries within a black heart is fundamentally untrue. I'm afraid my childhood unfolded without major incident, and to date, there's been very little trauma in my life, so I'm sorry to disappoint everyone, but I'm a fairly well-adjusted human being. People wrongly tend to assume that comedians will be prone to depression. It's probably because the comedian is always finding humour in everyday misery. That's how comedy works. It's what makes it funny. I know these things. I've read about them in books.
Yes, tell me about the books, because you really mean that, don't you?
Indeed I do. There's one particular book I admire. It's called Laughter, and it's by a neuroscientist called Robert Provine. He's the world's leading expert on laughter. Now, it wasn't his intention, but it reads like a kind of how-to book for comedians. Did you know, for example, that in the comfort of your own home, you rarely laugh out loud, no matter how funny a joke or situation might be? But in a cafe, chatting amongst friends, you'll laugh at almost anything without fail. Most of the time, laughter's simply a nervous mechanism, a breaking of tension. Audiences laugh at comedians because those around them are laughing too. It's a social thing, according to Provine. And so, as a stand-up comedian, all I do is break their collective tension. I lift the audience up and then drop them.
It's probably safe to assume that not all comedians approach comedy quite so theoretically, isn't it? I mean, you're university educated, aren't you?
You're probably right, but then that's me, I'm afraid. I'm not particularly proud of the fact, but there you are. Yes, I did mathematical science as my degree subject. I've always loved words, adored English at school, but was drawn inexorably towards numbers, and I loved every minute of it. But the trouble with maths at university level is it attracts some incredibly clever, focused people, which doesn't exactly make for a fun social life. That's how I came to join the Debating Society. And that kind of got me noticed because I have a way with words as well as with numbers. And before I knew it, I was writing for the university newspaper as well, doing orientation meetings for new students. I loved anything with an audience, you see. I couldn't help myself.
So that was the beginning of your career as an entertainer, really?
Well, sort of. After graduation, I began working for a local newspaper, writing a weekly column that was 700 words of whimsical nonsense. It was fun, but I wasn't set on journalism, so I started dabbling in stand-up comedy, just testing the water in various clubs at first. I hustled and gigged wherever possible, gradually building up my act, and always on the lookout for the next opening. Then, one day, I landed a TV spot in Ireland, hosting a children's programme. From there, I kind of hopscotched over to comedy.
Is that the way to do it then?
Yes, once your name's known, you get asked to do a few different kinds of programmes, which I did. After that, doors start opening up in all directions. You learn what to accept and what to avoid. I once did a quiz show, and it was disastrous. I won't be doing that again, but it was useful experience at the time. But TV feels comfortable for me, and I'm happy to go along with most of whatever comes along. But I'm definitely happiest when I'm on stage. It's certainly where I think I'm best, and TV can't capture that somehow. Although the TV work is just as challenging in its own way.
How do you account for your success on stage, then?
The game of comedy is all about owning the stage. And from a physical point of view, it's beneficial that I'm a larger man. From my lumbering presence alone, I can't really help but dominate the stage. People think I'm older than I am actually, which also helps. People feel uncomfortable if comedians look too young or vulnerable. I've always looked like everybody's dad. When I was 9, I looked 11, and so on. Once, I based an entire show on me looking older than I was. I asked the audience to guess my age. The average turned out to be 37. I was 29 at the time. Sad, eh? But as someone who applies scientific logic to much in my life, I've come to see the positive side of that too.
Kevin, there we must leave it. Thanks for being with us today.
Now play the recording again.